We're going to walk through your cut paper collage project, going step by step. First thing you need are these things: paper, scissors, glue, a sketchbook, which is our base to glue the design to, and a plan. You'll already have decided how to break down your layers in your sketchbook. The first object I'm going to make is a paintbrush. So I'm going to start with the backmost layer, what I labeled layer 1 on my plan. I'm going to first start by cutting a smaller shape from the large piece of paper. So my paintbrush is a rectangle, basically. So I'm going to cut the rectangle, and then I'm going to start shaping it down into a smaller piece so it looks more like my object. So I looked at the paintbrush, I saw it's thinner at the end of the handle, and so I'm making my handle thinner at the end. You can go ahead and shape down until you're happy with how your object looks. Next, I'm going to start to build the bristles of the brush using another shade of brown. Again, cutting a smaller square, a rectangle first, and then I'm going to cut it down into the shape of the bristles. It was a little too small first, so I went back and cut a second one that I trimmed down. That's all part of layer 1 from my rough draft. I'm going to start to build layer 2, making little tiny lines to go on top of the bristles to add dimension. So you're going to keep building layer 2, and eventually you'll get to layer 3 if you've planned it out that far. The next thing I'm making is the metal part that holds the bristles to the brush. I just used gray for that. And then I'm using a small black paper to make little lines on the gray paper to show some dimension in the metal part of the paintbrush. Notice I'm cutting everything first. I have not glued anything yet. The last thing that I am cutting out is the paint color that I am putting on top of my bristles. So you can see here that I made it a little big, and I will end up probably trimming it. Once you've cut out all of the parts of your object, you can begin to glue them together. Start with layer 1 and work your way forward. You can use a toothpick to glue instead of applying straight from the bottle. This makes it a little bit easier and a lot less messy. You can also use your ring finger, like I did right here, to apply the glue. That helps keep it less messy too. Toothpick or ring finger, those are my two recommendations. After you glue on all the pieces, you might realize you want to trim something up, and that's fine. So you've glued everything, and then you can go back and kind of trim up any small areas you want to edit. Once you're happy with that, you can move on to your next object in your design. You can see that I'm doing a pencil. I have a paint palette knife, crayons, and paints that I'm all creating to put on my cover. You can use any type of paper you want. You can see I used a metallic paper for my palette knife. And you're not going to glue anything down until you've tested it out first and like where it's going. Then glue, and you are done.